Welcome, God lovers. Thank you for coming back to listen to God's Word, the words of the saints and the message we bring today. We are approaching a unique time, a moment when spiritual energies, divine cycles, and the signs of the Creator align to guide us toward a new chapter in our lives. 2025 will not just be another year on the calendar, but an important milestone for all of us who feel God's call in our hearts. It is a time of transformation, reflection, and action, a time to align ourselves with the greater purposes that the Creator has for each of us. Have you ever felt that something big is about to happen? That there is a change in the air, something we cannot explain but feel deeply? Well, 2025 brings with it that energy. The significance of 2025. 2025 is a year that carries the power of the number 9 in numerology, a number that speaks of wisdom, the closing of cycles, and renewal. It is as if God is calling us to look within ourselves, to leave behind what no longer serves us, and to embrace what He has prepared for our future. In addition, 2025 will be ruled by the wood snake in Chinese astrology, a symbol of transformation, intuition, and wisdom. The snake teaches us the importance of renewing ourselves, of shedding the old skins that no longer belong to who we are. It is an invitation to grow spiritually, to seek the truth, and to live according to the purpose that God has placed in our lives. The path of transformation. But be aware, this will not be an easy year. Transformation requires courage, faith, and a full trust in God's plans. It is a time of choices, important decisions, and alignment with divine will. That is why we are here today, to reflect together on what this year means for us, the chosen ones of God. So if you feel in your heart that this message is for you, I invite you to stay with me until the end. Let's explore together what 2025 has in store for us and how we can prepare to live this new cycle with wisdom and faith. Before we continue, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and share this message with other chosen ones. This way, you help us spread this light to more people. The energy of the number 9. The number 9 carries a very special energy, and in 2025 it will be a guide for all of us who feel God's call. This number is a symbol of wisdom, completion, and renewal. It reminds us that just as one cycle comes to an end, another is about to begin. It is as if God is telling us that the time has come to close what no longer serves our purpose and to make room for the new. For the chosen ones, this means a clear call. It is time to reflect, to act with generosity, and to live as instruments of divine truth. Wisdom and compassion. The number 9 also teaches us about the importance of wisdom. It is like that elder who, at the end of his journey, shares everything he has learned. True wisdom is not just in knowledge, but in compassion, in the ability to look at others with love and to act with kindness. For us who have been chosen by God, this means that we must be light in this world. We should act with generosity, not only in great gestures but also in the small actions of everyday life. A smile, a word of comfort, an act of kindness, all of this has the power to transform lives. Living in truth. In 2025, the energy of the number 9 also invites us to live in truth. This will be a year in which many hidden truths will come to light. God will illuminate everything, revealing what was hidden both in the world around us and within ourselves. This can be uncomfortable, because the light of truth shows us not only what is good but also what needs to be corrected. But remember, God does not reveal these things to condemn us, but to set us free. He wants us to leave behind everything that separates us from our divine essence, everything that prevents us from fully living the purpose He has for us. Living in truth means living with integrity. There is no longer room for masks, for lies, or for living superficially. God calls us to be authentic, to be true, because it is in truth that we find freedom. Serving others with love. Another important aspect of the number 9 is altruism. This will be a year to serve, to put love into practice. But serving does. The power of small acts and true altruism. True altruism does not always involve grand gestures. Instead, it lies in the small, everyday actions, a kind word, a smile, or a positive thought directed towards someone. These simple acts, done with love, have the power to transform lives. God calls us to be beacons of compassion in a world longing for love and hope. Remember, it's not the size of the gesture that matters but the intention behind it. A small act of kindness, done with genuine love and consistency, can change the course of a life. The number 9 reminds us that acts of kindness, when repeated, become permanent. They take root, grow, and bear fruit over time. So, do not grow weary of doing good, even when it seems unnoticed or unappreciated. God sees your efforts and works through them in ways you may not yet understand. Consistency in faith and actions. The number 9 also challenges us to remain persistent. Walking with God requires dedication and consistency. It is not about performing one good deed and stopping there. It is about living a continuous life of kindness, faith, and love. Even when results are not immediate, remember the power of 3. 3 kind actions can redirect the course of a life. 3 words of encouragement can renew hope in someone on the verge of giving up. 3 sincere prayers can open doors that once seemed closed. God calls us to keep going, to be consistent in our faith and actions, trusting that He is working in and through us. Closing cycles to move forward. To move forward, we must also close certain cycles in our lives. This means letting go of what no longer serves us, habits, thoughts, attitudes, or relationships that hinder spiritual growth. God invites us to clear the soil of our hearts, removing what weighs us down so we can plant new seeds and reap a fruitful harvest in the future. 2025 will be a year of transformation, a year to reflect on who we are, what we are doing, and how we can align more closely with God's purposes. It is a call to live with wisdom, compassion, and faith, becoming light in a world that desperately needs it. Guided by the wood snake energy. In addition to the energy of the number 9, 2025 is influenced by the wood snake in Chinese astrology. The snake symbolizes wisdom, intuition, and transformation. For us, the chosen ones, this energy serves as a powerful reminder of God's transformative work in our lives. Just as the snake sheds its skin to grow, God calls us to let go of what no longer serves us. In doing so, we can emerge renewed, ready to fulfill His purpose. The snake teaches us to act with care and strategy, to reflect on our choices, and to plan our steps wisely. This year invites us to discern our paths in light of divine will, avoiding impulsive decisions and worldly distractions. It is a time to listen to God's voice, seek His guidance, and align our plans with His greater purposes. Balancing reflection and connection. However, the introspection inspired by the snake also comes with a warning. Too much reflection can lead to isolation, where we disconnect from others. Yet God created us for communion, to share our ideas, experiences, and struggles with fellow believers. Balancing time for reflection with meaningful connection is essential. Together, we can strengthen one another, learn, and collaborate to fulfill God's greater plan. Transformation from within. The transformation symbolized by the snake is not merely external, it is primarily internal. God calls us to look within, to identify what needs to be left behind, and to allow Him to shape us according to His will. This might mean abandoning unhealthy habits, forgiving past wrongs, or releasing fears that hold us back. Like the snake renewing its skin, we are called to spiritually renew ourselves, shedding the old and embracing the new that God has in store. This renewal requires courage. It demands faith in God's plan and the willingness to trust Him as we step into the unknown. But remember, transformation is the path to living a life fully aligned with His divine purpose. It is not easy to leave behind what is familiar, even if we know it is not good for us. But God gives us the strength to face this process. He reminds us that as we transform, we are drawing closer to Him and to the purpose He has for our lives. Transformation is an act of faith, an act of surrender where we trust that God is in control and that He is guiding us to something greater. The snake also teaches us about the importance of intuition. In 2025, we will be called to listen more to God's voice in our hearts. Often, He speaks to us subtly through feelings, thoughts, or signs. We need to be attentive and sensitive to His direction so that we can make decisions aligned with His will. Intuition, when guided by God, is a powerful tool that helps us discern what is right and what is best for our lives. Finally, the energy of the snake reminds us that transformation is not an end in itself but a means to fulfill God's work. By renewing ourselves and aligning with divine purpose, we are preparing to be instruments of His will. God calls us to be agents of change, to bring His light and His love to the world. Just as the snake is a symbol of wisdom, we are called to share this wisdom with others, to be examples of faith, compassion, and courage. Chosen ones, 2025 will be a year of great reflection and transformation. It will be a time to look inward, to seek God's wisdom, and to renew ourselves. But it will also be a time to connect with one another, to share our journeys, and to work together for the greater purpose that God has for us. May we embrace this energy with faith, courage, and the certainty that God is guiding us every step of the way. 2025 will be a year of endings and new beginnings. It is a time when God calls us to finalize old cycles, to leave behind what no longer belongs to our purpose, and to make room for the new that He wishes to plant in our lives. Think of it as a spiritual garden. For new seeds to grow and bear fruit, it is necessary to clear the soil, remove the weeds, and prepare the ground. This process can be challenging, but it is essential for us to fully live the divine plan. Ending cycles means, first and foremost, freeing ourselves from habits, behaviors, and even thoughts that distance us from God. Often, we carry things that no longer serve us, but out of habit or fear, we insist on holding on to them. It could be a relationship that prevents us from growing, a negative thought pattern, or even an attitude that we know is not aligned with God's will. 2025 invites us to look at these areas of our lives with honesty and courage and to make the decision to leave them behind. This process of spiritual cleansing requires us to make peace with the past. Forgiveness and gratitude will be fundamental tools on this path. Forgiving is not just about releasing the other person but also about freeing ourselves from the weight we carry. When we forgive, we open space in our hearts for God to work. Similarly, gratitude helps us see the blessings we have received, even in difficult moments. By looking at the past with gratitude, we can recognize the lessons learned in God's hand in each situation, which gives us strength to move forward. Leaving the past behind does not mean ignoring it or pretending it did not exist. On the contrary, it means learning from it, being thankful for the lessons, and moving forward with a lighter heart. God calls us to release what weighs us down because He has something new and greater prepared for us. But to receive the new, we need to be willing to let go of the old. 2025 will also be a year to plant new seeds. After clearing the soil, it is time to prepare the ground for the future. This is the ideal moment to start projects that have a positive impact, both in our lives and in the lives of those around us. God invites us to be catalysts for transformation in our communities, to be instruments of His will, and to spread His light and His love. Furthermore, the introspective energy of the wood snake can lead us to moments of indecision or procrastination. Introspection is important because it helps us reflect, seek wisdom, and plan our steps carefully. But if we are not careful, it can paralyze us. We can get lost in thoughts, doubts, and fears, postponing important decisions or failing to act when necessary. That is why, as chosen ones, we need to be attentive. We need to balance reflection with action, introspection with trust in God. Indecision can arise because many times we want to have all the answers before acting. We want to know exactly how things will happen. We want the guarantee that everything will work out. But the truth is that walking with God requires faith. We will not always have all the answers, but we can be sure that God is with us, guiding each step. He gives us the strength and wisdom we need at the right moment. When you feel doubt or fear, remember to pray, to seek God's direction, and to trust that He is in control. Another challenge that may arise in 2025 is the temptation to give up in the face of difficulties. When we are in the midst of a transformation process, it is common to face obstacles. Things may not happen as quickly as we would like, or we may encounter resistance, both from outside and from within ourselves. But it is precisely in these moments that we need to remember that God never abandons us. He is always by our side, strengthening us and encouraging us to continue. Chosen ones, God did not promise us a life without challenges, but He promised that He would be with us in all circumstances. He gives us the strength to overcome obstacles, the wisdom to make the right decisions, and the peace that surpasses all understanding, even in the most difficult moments. This is the time to hold on to these promises, to remember that we are not alone, and to trust that God is working in our favor, even when we cannot see it. The challenges of 2025 also offer us a unique opportunity for growth. Every difficulty we face is a chance to become stronger, wiser, and closer to God. It is through challenges that we learn to trust Him more, to depend less on our own strength, and to recognize that everything we have and are comes from Him. Therefore, instead of fearing challenges, face them as opportunities for spiritual growth. Ask yourself, What does God want to teach me through this? How can I use this experience to become a better person and more aligned with His purpose? The true meaning of the number 9 and the snake, spiritually, is deeply connected to transformation, wisdom, and divine purpose. The number 9 in spiritual numerology is the symbol of the closing of cycles and the preparation for new beginnings. It represents the wisdom acquired throughout a journey, as if it were the final stage of learning, where we are called to share what we have learned and to act with compassion and altruism. The 9 reminds us that life is made up of cycles and that to move forward, we need to leave behind what has already fulfilled its purpose. It is a number that invites us to look within, to reflect on our choices, and to align ourselves with God's greater plan. It teaches us that by closing a cycle, we are not losing but rather preparing for something great, something that God has already planned for us. It is a call to spiritual maturity, generosity, and the courage to move forward. The snake, spiritually, is a symbol of renewal, intuition, and profound transformation. In the Bible, the snake is often seen as a symbol of cunning and wisdom, but also of renewal, as it sheds its skin to grow. This act of renewal reflects what God calls us to do in our spiritual lives, to leave behind what is old, what no longer serves us, and to emerge renewed, ready to fulfill the divine purpose. The snake also teaches us about the importance of introspection and connection with our intuition, which is the voice of God speaking in our hearts. It invites us to be strategic, to reflect before acting, and to seek divine wisdom in all our decisions. However, the snake also warns us about the danger of isolation and procrastination, reminding us that transformation only happens when we balance reflection with action. Together, the number 9 and the snake show us that 2025 will be a year of profound spiritual transformation. They call us to close cycles with wisdom, to renew ourselves with courage, and to live with purpose, trusting that God is guiding us every step of the way. You, who feel the call of God, are part of this greater plan. No matter how small you may think your role is, you are essential to His divine work. Where you are or what challenges you are facing, know that God has a purpose for your life. He has chosen you to be light, to spread love, and to fulfill a unique mission. This is the moment to embrace that call, to live with courage, and to trust that God is in control. We are not alone on this journey. God is with us, guiding every step and strengthening us so that we can fulfill the purpose He has for us. Chosen ones, I want to know from you. What are you leaving behind in 2025? What seeds do you wish to plant for the future? Share in the comments because your stories and reflections can inspire other chosen ones to also embrace God's call. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, share it with other chosen ones, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. May God bless you in your journey in this very special year. Let's spread light together and fulfill our mission as chosen ones of God. Until next time.